Alright, so we're here in Saints Row 4 because I want to talk about features that we lost in Saints Row that will just never ever come back. Whether it be in the first game, the third game, the fourth game, it doesn't matter. I want to talk about features that just never return to Saints Row and why I miss them so much, or perhaps why I'm glad they're gone. So, the first one I feel is one that we're all going to relate to here, and that is crib customization. Can you believe the fact that they removed crib customization so hard? Like, it's depressing. I mean, you could argue that the reboot has it, but come on, bro. That piss poor attempt isn't even close. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm glad that they have something in the reboot, unlike 3 and 4. But, like, it's not the same, you know? It just doesn't hit that same spot for me. Ignore my outfit, by the way. I don't play Saints Row 4 on PC very much, as you can tell. I loaded up a later save, and, this isn't much better. But you know what? We're rocking it. At least I have my good superpowers on this one. But yeah, isn't it crazy how, like, in Saints Row 2, we were able to buy a crib, walk inside, go, I don't really like how this interior looks, go to the plethora of options they gave us, and just kit it out, and essentially we transformed the entire crib from one crib to another. Like, Saints Row 2 already has so many cribs, but when you factor in that each one effectively has an extra 2 or 3 hidden cribs underneath, it's just crazy how many options we were given in that game. It's one of those games that you could come back to no matter how old and be impressed by just everything the game had to offer. The definition of just ahead of its time. And even now, years later, fans are begging for features from that sort of era to come back. I guess it just shows how much they appreciated the smaller things. I mean, I call them smaller things. They're not even smaller things. They're just like the things we all want so badly. Here's another thing. This one's more so towards the reboot, if that makes sense. I'm more so directing this at what the reboot took away from us. I love/hate the fact that we don't really have to use stores that much in the reboot. You can go around, buy anything you want from the store, and never have to return there. Every single store in that game is effectively a one-use stop, and I mean, it's cool and everything, and I like having the style app so I can use it on the go. I tell you, for content creation, that is ridiculously helpful. You have no idea how many times I wanted to get a certain shot, and in the other games I'd have to drive around for 5 minutes to find the shot, whereas in the reboot I could just pull out my phone. It is helpful, but it also took away from the fact that, like, all these stores and these things in that game, it's a real city. Like, I feel like you can't get immersed in the map in the reboot because of that, because every single store, along with having no interiors, which we'll be touching on in just a minute here, along with having no interiors, it really has no purpose too, past using it once. Every store feels more like an objective you have to complete than a shop you wish to visit. But let's go back just 1 second to interiors, as I just touched upon it. Do you remember when we used to get interiors that not only were there in shops and stuff, but like were customized to certain areas? Gone are the days of going and exploring the mall, man, or the museum, or anything like that. It's just sad. Imagine if you were to play Saints Row 3, and it had a prison island, and you went over to it, and it was just a building on an island that you can't explore. Then compare that to Saints Row 2's. It's night and day, man. It's just like, whatever happened to it, bro? And the thing is, I'm not even going to really blame the reboot for taking this away. If anything, the biggest offender is damn Saints Row 3 and 4. The amount of places that actually have got interiors that you can explore, but only for a mission, is depressing. And obviously the reboot is by far the biggest offender of taking away the store interiors, and that was definitely really started with the reboot. But the other interiors, the explorable interiors you just wanted to adventure around in, that was really took away with all the games that followed too, and that's really disappointing to me. Here's a hot take for you all though. Let's talk about a feature that will never be coming back, or we haven't seen since the game, that I'm glad is gone. Now, I can't remember the exact name for it, so I'm going to have to describe it, but you know those takeover things where you're driving around in Saints Row 1 and 2, you get a call and it says a district is under attack and you have to run over and stop it? Yeah, I hated those. I am glad those are gone. They serve no purpose other than to, when you're just trying to drive through the map, you begin getting shot at, or you have to stop, do the activity, so it doesn't take your waypoint out of your minimap. It is so annoying, and honestly, there are some defenders for this out there, and I'm not one of them. I think, honestly, the second they removed that, they made a good decision, to be fair. And I could honestly go the rest of my life without playing a game with a system like that in place ever again. Here's a more slightly controversial one here. I feel like that one's kind of universal, that people are like, yeah, I mean, it's gone. you're at best, you're 50-50 on it. No one loves that, I'm sure. But this one will definitely be a bit more like, AJ, what the hell are you talking about? You know what I'm glad they changed? The respect system. In 3 and 4, you have this level up system where you go and you level up throughout the game and you have upgrades that you can purchase and get access to. I love this system. In Saints Row 1 and 2, you have to have respect to play missions and get through the campaign. And in my opinion, that sucks balls. Because it is effectively just another way of padding out your playtime. Those side activities are no longer side activities because you have to play them to access the main campaign. And whilst it's definitely not as offensive as just putting the activities in the main story, which is definitely not something I prefer, I would prefer to have the leveling system over a system that forces me to play activities when I just want to experience the story. Say what you want about 3 and 4, or even the reboot for that matter, but for the most part, if you want to go and play a mission, you can just go play a mission. You don't have to sit there and go, man, my respect level isn't high enough. What I will say though is, whilst I don't miss the feature, Saints Row 2 definitely made up for it by having some of the most badass activities, and let's be real, that's what we're going to talk about next. What happened to Fuzz? What happened to Fight Club, bro? What happened to Demo Derby? And why am I playing Mayhem for the 412th time? Honestly, this one hits me a bit harder than any of the others, because I am already not the biggest fan of activities per se. A lot of the time, I find them tedious, especially in 3, 4, and the damn reboot. But in 2, I would say only half of them are kind of tedious, because the other half are ridiculously fun. Like, I at no point complain when I have to play Fight Club. I'm like, oh man, I can't wait for that. Or Demo Derby, I look forward to doing that. When I complete Demo Derby, I sometimes go back and recomplete it because of how much fun it is. But we just seem to keep getting stuck with insurance fraud and mayhem, and I understand that they're staples, but like, surely it's time to innovate a little. Sadly, I don't think we'll be seeing any innovation soon because of, well, how everything went down, but it's something I wish I touched a bit more upon in my reviews and stuff when the game launched, because the lack of activities that are really cool did disappoint me. Here's another one that's disappeared that really annoys me that it's not back. What happened to walk styles, man? Or fight styles? Or just clothing wear styles? What happened to the style of Saints Row, man? Where did it go? Do you remember when you used to be able to choose how you walk down the street? How you wear your baseball hat? How you punch a hoe? Can't do that anymore. You have to do some basic jerky-ass animation punch. We went from doing these cool samurai kicks to barely even having hit detection with the punches. What happened? Honestly, that one hurts me just a little bit more than I like to admit. Also, why did we get such a big downgrade of diversions? Every single release past 2 slowly weakened the diversions we could do. Do you remember when you used to like go around and be a taxi driver? For no reason, just for fun? And that was something the game allowed you to do? You could actually just chill and go, you know what? I'm not going to be a gang leader today, I'm going to be a taxi driver. Has my game crashed? They damn killed this game with the last fucking update where they brought that like re-elected version to PC. Now the re-elected version runs horrible and the legacy version just crashes. It's so annoying. Anyway, where was I? Yeah, you used to be able to literally just be like a taxi driver, and that was so cool to me. And now you really can't do much. It's always just been weird to me how they like slowly but surely just removed more and more stuff as the games go on. Like, does anyone else realize that just doesn't make sense? Like, I genuinely can't think of another franchise that does it. Like, yeah, there are franchises you could argue make the games worse, but can you think of another franchise out there that just actively, for like 3 games in a row, managed to include less stuff to do than the games before it? One thing that I also really miss from the earlier games, and by this I mean Saints Row 2 of course, because it's the GOAT, I miss when we could play video games in our video games. What happened, man? That was so cool. When you go to the TV, you click Zombie Uprising and you just start playing it. And it's like, man, that is damn awesome. And it was just neat to know they hid so much stuff in that game. Stuff that's still being found to this day. Man, say what you want, but Volition, they made some bangers. Here's one that really bugs me. How come in the reboot, I couldn't actually just recruit any people to my gang? I couldn't just have them following around, chilling? Nope, impossible. It is like, why? Why would you do that to me? What did I do? Why would you ever think I wouldn't want to just have casual followers hanging around the map where I can just pick them up at any point and cause carnage? That's one of the things that really bugged me about the reboot. Even though they eventually added people around the map that are on your team, they never actually let you interact with them. They might as well have just been NPCs wearing purple. It's okay though, because at least we can have Kevin as our follower. And on that somber ending of Kevin being our follower, I'm going to leave the video here. Let me know, what is your biggest missed feature? And if you'd like a part 2 to this, because let's face it, there's at least 10 parts worthy of things they removed from the golden days of Saints Row. Let me know, maybe I'll make one. As always, thank you guys so much for watching. I will see you in the next video. Take care.